Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today, I'm trying out Doran, Besieged by Time in Standard. The reason I'm doing this one is because a very active member of our community, Veggie Zaffer, has been experimenting with Doran for quite some time now. Veggie has posted a number of deck lists to the Discord, made tweaks and changes to the deck list to try to get it into a nice playable spot. So I figured it's my time to take that deck list, make some changes of my own, for better or for worse, we're going to find out, and try it out on the ladder, see how it plays. Before I get into the deck list and talk a little bit about it, of course, I want to ask for your support. Please sub up if you haven't done so already. And more importantly, let me know what you think about Doran. Do you think this old tree folk druid has what it takes to be competitive in standard? So let's talk about Doran because the whole deck is basically built around Doran. Doran says each creature spell you cast with toughness greater than its power costs one generic less to cast. That means our deck is going to be built out of creatures that have more toughness than power. We have our Turtle Duck, our Great Forest Druid, and so forth. All of these creatures are going to have more toughness than they have power, so they're going to be getting a little bit of a discount. Then our Doran says whenever a creature you control attacks or blocks, it gets plus X until the end of turn, where X is the difference between its power and its toughness. So let's say this little turtle duck here attacks as a 0/4. The difference between its power and toughness is 4. So it will become a 4/8. Simple enough. And that is basically the theme of the deck. We have another creature that plays very well into that theme in the Bedrock Tortoise. This one gives all of our creatures hexproof on our turn, but more importantly, it says each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. So if the Bedrock Tortoise is attacking in, it's going to be assigning 6 damage instead of 0. These two cards are what the whole deck is built around. So we have our Turtle Duck, a 0/4. We have our Great Forest Druid and our Overgrown Zealot. Both of these are 0/4s. They're also both mana dorks that are going to help us get into our 4 and 5 CMC creatures. We have the Formidable Speaker. It's a 2/4, so it gets a benefit there. The more important thing here is that we get to pitch some dead cards to go get some of our more important cards because Bedrock Tortoise and Doran are going to be integral to this deck's success. We are also playing the Green Shell. This thing is a beast. It's a 4/6, so it doesn't get so much of a benefit from Doran or the Bedrock Tortoise, but it does have the ability to synergize with creatures with greater toughness. It says whenever this creature or another creature you control with toughness greater than its power enters, we get to look at the top card of our library. If it's a land card, you may put it on the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. So this thing is going to be finding us a ton of cards throughout the game. And then Baitor also works with toughness. This is a spirit dragon, 5/7 for 5 mana, flying, of course, because it's a dragon. And then it says at the beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. If it's 20 toughness or greater, untap each creature you control. Then if it's 40 toughness or greater, each opponent loses half of their life, rounded up. Mostly we're looking at that 10 toughness or greater. Baitor already has 7 toughness himself, so having just one other creature on the field is going to activate the first stage of his ability and allow us to draw a card. The rest of the main board is removal, Strategic Betrayal, Bitter Triumph, and Get Lost to remove some of our opponent's annoying threats. And over in the lands, the most notable one is going to be the Restless Fortress. This is a 0/4 creature land, so more toughness than power. That was a late stage suggestion by Veggie. Let's see if it works out. Then, of course, we have a sideboard because we are playing best of 3. We have Duress for our control matchups, Dawn's Truce to bring in also against board wipe heavy opponents, so control. Rest in Peace because you got to fight against graveyard strategies. Cease and Desist also fights against graveyard strategies, but it also destroys artifacts and enchantments. And Split Up if we need a board wipe. So that is the deck. We're going to hop into some games and see if old Doran over here can actually get it done in standard. See you over in the games. All right, time for some big old booties in standard. This, you know what? This deck feels like something that Saffron Olive from MTG Goldfish will be playing in an against the odds segment. Opening hand is so close. If we had one more land, I think we could keep it, but there's no way we're going to take the risk there. And so we're going to throw it away. This is also horrible because we don't have any of our low end, but I think I'm fine trying it for 6. Our opponent also mulliganed down to 6. And I think I'm going to throw away the Baitor over the Green Shell. We'll keep a little bit of removal with the Get Lost and just hope that the opponent doesn't have much of a powerful start. They also mulliganed down to 6, so We are on even footing right now. Opt from the opponent, that could mean that they are on maybe Spelementals. I know Spelementals is a very powerful and popular deck these days. If it is the case, we could be in a bit of trouble. Let's just put the Overgrown Tomb onto the field, and then next turn we're going to be looking to hold up the Get Lost. I think the opponent's deck is going to start spinning its wheels. They're going to start, if it is in fact Spelementals, they're going to start putting cards into the graveyard. And if we can get a good strategic betrayal off to exile some of the instant and sorcery spells that they have in their graveyard, maybe it could put them off of being able to play out their nasty cards, their elementals. They don't have anything, and they missed a land drop. So let's try to jam this Bedrock Tortoise. I don't like throwing it into a counterspell. They could have a I was gonna say saw it coming 3 steps ahead for the counter. They don't have that. They choose to opt. This, if it is the Spelementals deck, I don't think they're really playing that much main board. They're not playing very much main board counter magic. They are playing direct damage spells like Seer, potentially. I'm pretty sure this is, in fact, the Spelementals deck. And our Bedrock Tortoise giving our stuff hexproof on our turn is actually going to be pretty great, because that means they can't tap down the Bedrock Tortoise with their crab. It is elementals. So I kind of like taking the opportunity here to strategic betrayal, because it's going to obviously get rid of the Hearth Elemental, and it's also going to get rid of 4 of their instant and sorcery spells. We can get in for 6 damage because the Bedrock Tortoise is a monster, and we get to hold up our removal. It's a little bit of a shame that I couldn't get Doran down there, but I think it was probably better to clear the opponent's graveyard. Game number 2, looking towards the future, we're probably going to be bringing in the Rest in Peace. I think if we can keep this opponent's graveyard empty, we probably in pretty good shape here. Okay, so you know what? I kind of want to throw out Doran, because Doran is going to be potentially lethal against the opponent, because this Bedrock Tortoise is going to be getting +6, right? So it's a 6/6. It's going to be attacking, and it gets +6. Does it go up to a 12/12? It does go to a 12/12. Veggie Zaffer, that one's for you. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. All right, opponent is on Spelementals. We have a pretty good card to bring in against them. I think 100% we just slam in the Rest in Peace. The question is going to be, what do we got to take out? All right, so they're going to have Seer. That's going to be their number 1 card that's going to be able to destroy some of our stuff. So our 4 CMC creatures are probably going to be a little bit soft. I'm going to trim on the Turtle Ducks, and I'm also going to trim on maybe a Formidable Speaker, and I don't want to remove too much of my removal. I'm kind of looking at the removal and saying, yeah, I could maybe get rid of 1 or 2 spells. They don't have a ton of creatures, but I don't want to go down on too much here. Would I rather have a Get Lost? Yeah, I'd rather have a Get Lost. I think I don't care if I give them the map tokens. I think it's fine. All right, hey, if this deck can put up a good fight against Spelementals, you know there's something here. Unfortunately, opening hand, a little sketch. It's slow. The opponent is keeping 7. We do have an Underground Mortuary that could help us, and we are on the draw. I'm going to try it out against my slightly better judgment. Okay, no lands, please. No, we want a Mana Dork here. 4 CMC. Doran. Sorry, bud. In the graveyard for you. I really don't know if they're probably packing some bounce spells, but they don't have a whole lot of stuff that they can use against our big stuff here. Okay, Turtle Duck onto the field. Turtle Duck is strategically avoiding Spell Snare, because it is a 1 CMC creature. We play out our land and go from there. We're going to have to make sure to put out a Light Source very soon. We will need that mana for Doran at some point. Okay, opponent is loading up the graveyard. Unfortunately, Glacial Dragon Hunt, 3 damage. They would need another shock. And they could have the Burst Lightning. 2 spells to kill my turtle, my poor turtle duck. And I'm kind of super fine with that because we have another 4 toughness bootied creature. The Great Forest Druid hitting the field saying, hey, opponent, you had to use 2 spells to get rid of the last one. Are you going to use another 2 spells? Actually, I'm sitting here being all high and mighty. The problem is, oh, you know what? The Earth Elemental can't really stop the Great Forest Druid. It would have gone up to a 4. It would have been useless to attack, and it would have been 4/8. It wouldn't have died. But Eddie McCrab, a little bit better. We probably should have mulliganed a little bit harder for the Rest in Peace, knowing that this deck really... Oh, they got a Bellion? Hello, that's some new tech. Did not expect that. Okay, from here, let's try putting out our green shell. We are getting a pretty good discount on stuff. The green shell sees a card on the top. It is a Great Forest Druid, and we can keep this chain going. Once we get this green shell on the field, we can chain into a lot of really good stuff. Yeah, let's put that on the field. Enter tapped. From this spot, I think I'm just going to try to attack in with the Doran, but the opponent has made it abundantly clear that that's not going to happen. Now, Doran does work when blocking as well. I think I can't afford to attack in here. I would only get 9 damage through. It's not enough. I'm going to actually be a little bit of a coward and just put out the Overgrown Zealot, try to draw another card with the green shell. But we could die here very easily, especially with this Bellion now on the field. It's going to be getting prowess. I might have to sacrifice my poor Overgrown Zealot. I really don't want to throw Doran. Okay, they attack, and that's lethal damage, right? Okay, so the opponent had what they needed, a very powerful and explosive start from the opponent. We kept a questionable hand. That's on me. My bad. Is this... I don't think Cease Desist is worth it. I think all we got to do is stop being boneheads. I was too high. I was riding such a wonderful high from that first game because it worked so well, and I got a little cocky. Let's just put it, say it how it is. I was arrogant. I needed to mulligan into the Rest in Peace, and that's what we're going to do this time around. We get to be on the play this time around. Let's see if we can find a Rest in Peace and a Turtle Duck and a Great Forest Druid. We find almost all the cards that I was requesting. I forgot to also request lands. My bad. You know what? It's fine. I don't like putting the green shell away, but I think we absolutely have to. We are going to have to use this strategic betrayal very strategically, and it could help us tremendously. We do hit the Baitor, so we can go next turn Verge into Doran, and then, hey, it looks like a Baiter is in play. Baitor. After that, Abandoned Attachment's good. I was a little bit afraid that they were going to have a bounce spell there. That would have put me behind quite a bit, I think. But now we are in the driver's seat. What do they got for turn number 3? 2/1 instant in the graveyard. So they're not getting a huge discount. They can't really play anything out. A Winter Night Stories. If they pitch a lot of stuff into the graveyard, I'm almost in a position where I feel like I could maybe wipe their graveyard. They just put 4 things in the graveyard. I know it's so it's a weird spot. Do I put out the Baitor to draw a card and untap? No, I don't untap. Oh, I would untap everything. It would be pretty good. And then I can Betrayal on the next turn, but I can't Betrayal at instant speed. This just means that they won't be able to do anything next turn. I think I just do this. Get rid of their graveyard. Go in for 9 damage. The opponent, yeah, it was the right play. Coming out of the gate, we take down one of the best decks in Standard with old Doran here. Spell Elementals have no power here. Okay, next one. We're cutting a game. I feel bad for the 3 people who enjoy seeing Azorius control gameplay, because our opponent in the last game was in fact Azorius control. Game number 1, they played 3 Ultimas, 2 Day of Judgments. It was just like, you know what? I I don't want to do this. I just tossed it in. And I thought, you know what, we'll get rid of that game. There's no reason to sit around and do that stuff. It's just too much for me. Instead, we get a Bedroom World Cup game. So now we're really going to be testing the validity of this deck against a very powerful strategy. The opponent is just flooding out the board, and we can't do a whole lot. Now, each creature you control with toughness greater than that assigns combat damage. Okay, so even putting out the Bedrock Tortoise, that means that it is going to be a pretty good blocker. It's a 0/6 blocker. As long as they don't have the Ouroboride, we're kind of fine. No attack from the opponent. They have 3, 6, 9, 12. They have so much. All right. But we got some pretty good stuff coming down the pipeline here. I'm going to just put some big old boys on the field. Do I want to attack? You know what? I don't hate an attack here. If they decided to like put 2 or 3 things in front of it, I would happily trade. GG. It's such a shame, right? Okay, it's not over yet. We could potentially find Bitter Triumph off the top. Bitter Triumph lets us get rid of the Ouroboride. We don't. So what we need to do now is we need to put this out and pay for it. We need to put Baitor onto the field. And do I swing? Oh, I didn't need to untap that. So if I swing, they have to put stuff in front of it, actually. I didn't need to keep this untapped. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's swing. What I'm thinking is that I'm going to draw a card with Baitor. It could potentially be a Bitter Triumph, but it's like such a shot in the dark. Hey, we untap our stuff because Baitor second ability is happening here, but we have some pretty good blockers. We did not find what we needed, but they need to go through this. They needed to find something pretty big. And all we need to really do is survive. What? Unbelievable situation. All right. So I'm assuming this is what the split up is for. I'm very apprehensive about the split up. I don't know how good it's going to be, but we're going to be bringing it in, trying it out. All right, from here, I think we're going to trim just a little bit. Turtle Duck 1 out, 1 green shell out, and I kind of think I might take out 1 Doran. The opponent, I like having 4 Dorans in the deck against opponents who are going to be playing a lot of removal. Doran is very important, but we only need 1. If they have their own Bitter Triumphs and whatnot, then of course we want to be able to draw into other Dorans. But if the opponent is on a deck like this, they're just hoping to power over us. And so we don't really need that many Dorans. Our hand's okay. We don't have black mana, which is a little sketch. But what we do have is Turtle Duck. And from here, actually, in the game that I cut against the Azorius player, I literally played Turtle Ducks for like the first 6 turns. They got rid of my Turtle Duck, and then I used Get Lost to destroy. No, we're not attacking. To destroy the enchantment that they used to get rid of the Turtle Duck. It was just such a silly situation. We find a land here. That's okay. Now I can use the Get Lost on the Surrock here if I really want to, but I think putting out the Great Forest Druid is actually not such a bad idea. The cool thing about these Mana Dorks and Split Up is that I can actually control who survives a little bit better. So if they end up putting a bunch of stuff out here, I can tap down my Overgrown Zealot, my Great Forest Druid for mana, and then wipe the board. Yeah, that's what might end up happening here. Are they going to attack in with their Surok, though? They do. So that means their Surok probably going to survive. Although I do it differently, I guess. Okay, no blocks. Let that in. I could just kill tapped creatures, but then they have so much mana. So does Turtle Duck die? No. Turtle Duck is going to swing in. You go, girl. Turtle Duck in for damage. Do I want to deal 3 damage? No. Okay, Turtle Duck. Add 1 mana. This is me using all my brain cells right now. We want to destroy untapped creatures. It's not great. Their Surok survives. We get rid of the Badger Mole Cubs, though. Oh, yeah, they get that. It's fine. We just get rid of the Badger Mole Cub. Okay. And now we hold up. I guess I could have put out a Turtle Duck. We hold up the Get Lost for a potential Ouroboros. Okay. We really need Doran or something like that. They got nothing. Green Shell's okay. So holding back the Turtle Ducks here, working out for us. We get to put black mana onto the field. Find us a Doran. Come on, find us a Doran. Enter tapped. I can't put out 1 more. I thought I had 1 more mana. That's okay. That's okay. 2, 4, 6 mana on the field with 2 more. Oh, they neuter my poor boy. Well, I can get rid of this with the Get Lost, right? I think I'm okay taking 4 more points of damage. There's a Doran. There is a Doran. Put it onto the field. Oh, I should have maybe made the decision to use the Get Lost. Can I go full control now? No. Okay, let's just attack with all of these creatures. Hold up the Get Lost. Do they have a way of killing my Doran? Into the Floodmaw. Okay. Well, I'm kind of glad that they did it now. I think doing it right now is a little bit of a misplay by the opponent because I can now choose not to attack and I can actually recommit my Doran to the field if I really wanted to. Conversely, I could just put out the Turtle Duck. They're down to 1 card. I hold up the Get Lost. I fire off the Get Lost at either the Green Shell or some nasty threat that they put onto the field if they put an Ouroboros onto the field. They don't. You know what? Boom, 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 boom. Oh my goodness. Taking down Spelementals, taking down Badger Mole Cub, losing to Azorius Control. Don't worry about that. But it's going okay. Let's keep finding some more of these kinds of matchups. No board wipes, please. That's the types of decks I play. We always want to say, please, no board wipes. Okay. The Formidable Speaker could allow us to go and get, well, whatever we wanted to. But hopefully we just draw into a Turtle Duck. Our best draw, Turtle Duck, confirmed. Okay. So this is fine. I can put this out and I can hold up my Bitter Triumph. Do I want to hit the Llanowar Elf with the Bitter Triumph or do I want to hit a Badger Mole Cub with the Bitter Triumph? And I think it's probably just a Badger Mole Cub because they always... What? At the beginning of your main phase, I've not seen old Metal Abs actually being played. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay green, that is green, transform him, okay? Up to 1 target creature gains all creature types. He turns it into a Mimic. Sorry, you can resolve. Target creature gets -2, -0. Fine. Is the backside more threatening? Mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among them on... So many words. Oh, they can... You can choose to put it out on the backs. No. What am I saying? Do this? I spent the time reading the card, knowing what I was going to actually do. Maybe it's fine. Formidable Speaker to the field. Yes, opponent, we are definitely playing. They should... they should be thinking, are they playing? Like, do you really think that they're gonna grab a Bedrock Tortoise? As soon as you see this hit, you're like, oh my god, it's a Kavaro deck, right? No, no, no. We are doing goofier things than that. Bedrock Cub. Maybe I should have saved the Bedrock Cub. I don't know. Was I scared of this card? He does make elk. Oh no. That the opponent just played out a lot of value, didn't they? All right. Well, let's get, you know what? Let's get this onto the field because it's actually a better blocker than the Doran. And then from here, I think we might actually just end up dying. Maybe I fired off the Bitter Triumph a little bit too quickly. But you know what? I probably would have still made the same play. Oh, all right. So the Ouroboros coming back for revenge. Last game, things went a little bit too well. Do I have to chump block here? I have to chump block, right? And we lose, right? Okay. Hey, the Zealot comes back. All right, we're not gonna. Well, they know what we're doing. Okay. It kind of worked in the last game. We'll bring in the split up again. We'll go down one Turtle Duck. We'll go down one Doran, I think is fine. And one of the green shells. I think that's what I removed last time. And we'll hope that the opponent doesn't draw so hot. Let's be fair. Mana Dork turn 1. Turn 2 drew out our removal with Metal Abs into Badger Mole Cub, into Ouroborite, into Ouroborite. What are you going to do? All right. We just got to hope that they're ever so slightly slower this time so we get a real game of Magic instead of that nonsense. We get to play first. It's fine. I think it's fine. We surveil a land. Ooh. It hurts to put Doran away because Doran. But I think we need to find a land, and we do have the Bedrock Tortoise that allows these two creatures to attack in just fine. Am I going to get punished putting out the... I have to put it out. So next turn, what I can do is I can put Verge plus the other Zealot onto the field, and then hold up the Bitter Triumph for the Ouroborite that might be hitting the field. Yeah. Okay. And then maybe we can get some great value with this split up. They're not going to be expecting the split up. We don't have any white mana here. We do have double white mana from our mana dorks. So it's all going to be hoping that this Bitter Triumph can blank their really good play here. And that they... I mean, if we might end up losing our creatures too, because we're going to have to destroy tapped creatures. Which is why I'm a little apprehensive about the bitter or the split up. But I think we do need to wipe this board. We might not have to be too hasty with the wiping though. Okay. So they're just flooding the board with stuff. Oh, it would be nice if they could do a little bit more. A little bit of a shame that we have to use both of our creatures to tap for white mana if we want to, and we're only going to be killing half of their stuff. So you know what I'm kind of thinking now is new plan. Bedrock Tortoise. Hold up the Bitter Triumph one more time. Because I can't allow this board to have a Ouroborite land. Do they actually have mana for... I was going to say, do they have Crater Hoof mana? Maybe. No, they won't have that much mana. Okie dokie. Just pass the turn. Just pass. Oh my gosh. Okay, do I fire off the Bitter Triumph now? Kill the Bedrock, or sorry, kill the Quantum Riddler. Boom. Okay, actually, you know what? Split up's really bad, right? Because I'm sitting here thinking, like, they can just tap down their stuff in response. Yeah, this is actually a really bad card in hindsight. So we just attack with everything. They go down to 6. Okay, if we die, we die. Split up. it's this card. I talked to Veggie a little bit about it, saying I'm not really sure about it. And here it's kind of showing the same thing. So yeah, bringing in against decks like the Badger Mole Cub, yeah, we got to go back to the drawing board on this one, because of course they can just tap down their stuff. So we can only really get them when they go greedy and tap everything down. Yikes. Yikes, yikes. Okay. There are cracks in this strategy. I should put it out there. Badger Mole Cub, still not healthy for the format. Okay. Just as a little bit of a reminder, just in case some of us have forgotten. It shouldn't be around. It does enable really sketchy deck building and stifles interesting deck building like Doran. Okay, we are maybe against Lessons this time around. I haven't seen Lessons in the longest time, and I think Lessons actually pretty good against us because they could have the combustion technique to actually do like insane amounts of damage. It's not. It's just straight up. Oh. Well, I think you can never allow a Slickshot Show Off to survive, right? So you just hit the Slickshot Show Off, you put down the Overgrown Tomb, conserve a little bit of life, and then Doran next turn and hope it's going to be enough. Oh, it's so bad. No block. If they want to pump up their Otter with like a +3 damage or something like that, they can do it. I don't want to lose the Overgrown Zealot knowing that Doran's coming down next turn. Or well, I guess this time around we can get in for 4 damage instead of holding back a blocker. Doran on the field. Formidable Speaker can pitch the other Doran next turn. And yeah, or maybe I got to block this time with this Doran because I mean, there's no way they're going to kill this. It's a 5/10. Doran is the ultimate blocker. They could bounce it. They do bounce it. Okay. I'm fine with them using the resources like that. Oops. Maybe they didn't know Doran. They didn't know Doran could get the power buff when blocking. I'm going to keep swinging. I'm going to put pressure on the opponent. Another 4 damage coming in at you. If you want to put your Otter in front of it, by all means. We put the Mortuary on the field. Hopefully something good on the top of our library. It's not good. We would put that in the graveyard. We don't need it. We're getting plenty of discount with the Doran already. We want to find, well, first and foremost, the opponent using a stock up here, I think, is good news. I guess they could have Into the Flood Maw one more time or a Boomerang, but they're definitely a little bit on the back foot here. It could swing so quickly for the opponent. They have a Boomerang. Okay, so we're going to take 6 damage here. They swing in with both Otters, or do they hold? Oh, it's way more damage. Ouch. Okay, 11. Boom, boom. Should have kept... Maybe I should have kept the Verge now that I'm thinking about things. Let's do this. This gets rid of the Wild Ride. It also gets rid of 1 Otter. And it holds our Doran back as a blocker. They need... I mean, we could die very easily. They could have just a Boomerang Into the Flood Maw plus another pump spell. If they have another +3/+0 pump spell, they'll be able to kill us with 1 of their Otters. But they are down to 2 cards, 3 cards. They need to make these cards really work for them. Which, yeah. I really wonder if it would have been better to have kept this Verge on the top of the library, knowing that I could put Doran on the field with another land and put the Formidable Speaker out. Okay. Okay. Huh. So, we put Speaker on the field. We got to win this turn, right? But I don't think I can win. I don't have the damage. I can go and get... What do I get? Nothing gives me life. Nothing. Yeah. We die. We draw a card. We untap things. They have lethal damage though in hand. GG opponent. I guess it's just kind of, we show them the cool thing. Unfortunate. We can do 9. They have a blocker. Baitor does not kill them. It's going to untap our stuff, but they're fine. They got the burst lightning. They can deal picked 4 damage to our face. And close one. Playing a real deck over here. They're trying to keep their ranks nice and healthy, and that's what's going to happen. Boom. All right, that's fine. We're going to go to game number 2. What do we bring in, though? Is the Rest in Peace going to be good enough? Probably not. I don't think I have anything in my deck or in the sideboard that's really going to help us out in this matchup, because they just have so much aggression. Yeah, they have stuff in the graveyard, but they're not really using their graveyard that much. Like, I think bringing in a Rest in Peace would slow them down ever so slightly, but I think it's probably just going to be a bad draw for us. Oh, it's not great. But we have our lands, but I think we need to find the removal. This is a better hand. Okay. Green shell gone. That way the Formidable Speaker can be a pretty good blocker, and if we end up drawing a bunch of lands, I can pitch one of these lands to go get a Doran, for example. Bitter Triumph might be doing extra work. I did at some point in this game let some damage through. I wonder if that was a mistake. Put the Surveil land there. Green shell is good. Green shell has reach, but we're so far away from casting it. I think I have to put it in the graveyard. Okay, Turtle Duck is going to have to hold the fort. I think I have to put the otters in front of, or put the Turtle Duck in front of the otter. As much as that sucks. Oh, okay. Well, we're in the same situation where we just have to use Bitter Triumph. I don't want to discard a card. I don't really want to. I don't want to do anything. Okay. I think 3 life is going to be more valuable than a card in the long run. The Slickshot Show Off, I think, has to die immediately because they have, Wild Ride, Wild Ride, Wild Ride. They kill me. I'm going to block this time. If they want to use their spells to pump up this otter, it's damage that they're not putting onto my face. So that's fine, I think. The otter's not really doing anything anyway. Ah, man, I think we ran into a couple of bad matchups here. Getting wiped out by... Man, the plight of a rogue deck in standard. Okay, we can go and grab Doran. Okay, so we have our boy for the next turn. We can, at the very least, put a 0/5 on the field. That is going to be a little tricky for them to deal with, but they have their bounce spells. Into the Flood Maw. 1 CMC, remove anything. Okay, stock up. Am I brave enough to block with the Formidable Speaker? I think I'm actually not. There's a very good chance that they have another Burst Lightning. If they have another Burst Lightning, their Otter lives, my Formidable Speaker dies, and then I'm just going to have a Doran on the field by himself. Okay, now that's fine. So they can swing in for 3 damage. We can block. Okay. Hey, you know what? Baitor is going to be a pretty good follow-up. I can't attack because... maybe I could have... No, I don't feel comfortable attacking. They have so much surprise damage. Man, into the Flood Maw. What a card. Bounce any creature for 1 blue mana, instant speed. We might just be dead here. Now these otters, 4/4s, they could... I mean... I'm not blocking, right? I don't really want to throw away my speaker. They could pump again. Yes, here. Okay. So 10 damage in, and now we are Man, the amount of tempo that the opponent gets from one card is it just like neuters the ability to play so many types of cards in the game when you have cards that are as efficient as Boomerang and that. GG opponent. Wow, we did really well. First 2 games flying, although no, this is 5 games because we did lose to the Azorius control. But we did see the deck doing some things. I think I'm going to play one more. I'm going to go one more. It's been a little while since I played a deck that is taking on a strategy that is humble the right word? So ambitious. Abojii the ambitious. And that's exactly what's going on with this deck. Like, it's clear that Doran is not a meta relevant card. But you try to make it work because, you know, maybe you can. We saw some fun games. Like, it did do some stuff and it can have some success. But I think if you are the player that's trying to do this type of stuff on the ladder, playing at, especially Mythic, but playing at a higher level, you have to go into it expecting middling results. You have to temper your expectations and know that if your opponent just slams Ouroboride into copied Ouroboride, you're not going to be able to beat that strategy. And as long as you keep your expectations, you know, appropriate, I think you can do fine and you can have fun. But just realize that, like, the power creep that is in the game when you go up against an opponent that's playing a real deck, a deck like Is It Prowess? Oh, the opponent just whiffed on their breakout. Oof. Yeah, things get really messy. I'm going to put the Bedrock Tortoise out instead of the Doran because I think it's the next turn when you put they just let it through. Yeah, anyways, that's what I want to say about these types of decks. These decks are fun, it's interesting, and cool things can happen. But when you run into the meta decks, just know what's happening to you. Okay, we're gonna bring in Rest in Peace because our opponent is on, amazingly, Delirium. When was the last time you saw a Delirium deck? So we bring in those. I think we can go down 1 Shell. We can go down 1 Doran. Honestly, I don't think I really need that much removal because if I can find a Rest in Peace, like, their creatures just can't really get through the 0/4, which is kind of crazy. 4 Toughness is that sweet spot where things actually do get pretty nice. We don't hit it though. This is a good hand. This is a good hand. We can go 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4 if we find our land. And okay, well, hello. Strategic Betrayal, fantastic card in this matchup. So we're getting paid back for the suffering that we felt in the last couple of games. Do I want to potentially conserve my life total a little bit? Maybe. So we'll go out with the Overgrown Zealot. That gives us the 4 mana for the future. They attack in, but I mean, if they want to kill my Turtle Duck, they want to use a spell. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah. You're fine with that, right? You're less fine with that, though. You're very much less fine with that situation. Okie dokie. Well, now we take our opportunity to get rid of the Keen-Eyed Curator, who just this raccoon just came in and like chwa, 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 and just completely decimated my board. Good on you, raccoon. Oh no, it's back. It's back. What am I gonna do? Well, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna throw down a turtle. We got raccoons. This is what I want standard Magic to be: raccoons versus turtles. No otters. Otters. Let's be fair. The otters were not the problem really in the last game. The problem was the fact that the opponent had Into the Floodmaw and Boomerang basics. So this thing needs cards exiled with it, so they can get one more type. I'm blocking. Do they not know how the card? Do I not know how the card works? Exile types. Did I miss a card? They already exiled the land. They have a creature. Yeah. So I know what happened there. And yeah, we're just gonna do this. I know what happened there. When I played the raccoon, because reading the card is always the hardest thing in this game. I remember seeing this, and as long as there are 4 or more cards exiled with this creature. Oh, okay, 4 or more cards. And you just skip over this little word right here. 4 or more card types exiled among cards with this creature. Then it gets +4/+4. But if it's just cards, it doesn't really work out. And we have the rest in peace, and we take down a win. Cool. All right, so I hope all of you enjoyed my little adventure here this evening with Doran, Besieged by Time. I had fun. It's a shame that we kind of got absolutely stomped by Hub or Boride and then by Is It Prowess. I guess I was an Is It Prowess deck. Those decks, yeah, sure, they got the tools that are going to beat us. Of course, the Ouroboride deck drew very well. And then when you're putting so much effort into playing, 4 CMC cards that are very important, and your opponent can just play a 1 CMC instant speed spell, remove it, man, things are going to go real bad for you. But in the end, yeah, Doran's fun. Of course, what am I going to say about this deck? It's neat, and it's kind of cute. But it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out until the power level of Standard comes down about 2.5, 3 notches. We need really to rein in the power of Standard. But I think if you have tempered expectations, like I was saying earlier in the video, if you're just kind of out here having fun with your Beitor and your Doran, yeah, you can have a good time with this kind of deck. And we did have some fun wins in this little set of games. So the deck does function. The problem is when you run into decks that just function better, you're just going to get stomped. So I think this was a pretty good showcasing of what you can expect from a Doran type deck. I actually haven't seen other creators' videos on the Doran archetype. I know some people have done it. In fact, I know Krim from MTG Goldfish recently made a Doran deck video, but I haven't gotten around to watching that yet. So I'm wondering if he ran into similar experiences as I did. But in the end, we took down some wins. We got stomped in some other games. We gave up against Azorius Control because it's too mind-numbing. It's a pretty typical MTGA experience, if you ask me. If you have any suggestions for Veggie Zaffer, you can let him know down in the comments. I know he's going to continue slamming away with this deck and trying to make it work. Yeah, leave your comments and your suggestions down below. Maybe he'll see them one day. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care for now. I'll see you all in the next one. Sang Ipana. Take care. Bye-bye.